Good morning. I remember how extremely frustrating it was back in 2021 when I tried to talk to people about the COVID injection. When the COVID injection came, I found some stuff out, right? And I tried to talk to people. And I remember talking to this man, and I just found out that the pharmaceutical industry, I mean Pfizer and Moderna, AstraZeneca, Johnson Johnson, you see, I found out that they were immune. If something bad happened because of the injections, nobody could touch them. They would not be responsible for what happened. You know? I found out about this, and I was sort of shocked about it. Right? How they can do this? You know? Right. And then I tried to talk to this man about this thing. So I told him, you know, this is going on. And there was like no reaction from the guy. I could have told him that, you know, oh, there's a car over there. It was like nothing, no reaction. Very, very frustrating. And now I understand that there were people, I know that many of you were frustrated as well. And now I know that there were people that were even more frustrated during this time. The people who were working with it, you know, the scientists. This was their job, right? To look into things, find out the truth about this thing. And they found out that, you know, hey, there's something very wrong here. Some of them did, right? Do you remember? And I understand it must have been extremely frustrating for them because they could prove it, right? They could prove that there was something wrong. And then they were silenced, see? And nobody would listen to them. Wow. What a situation. I was listening to one of them this morning. His name is a Canadian guy. I remember his name, so I must have talked about him or mentioned him back then. Right? His name is Denis Rancourt, I think. That's how you pronounce it, maybe. Canadian physics professor, scientist, this guy. And I'll post a link to the clip. I really recommend it. And I can see it now. He's talking now in 2025, I believe. And it's amazing to listen to him. So this guy was looking into people dying. That was like the data that he was using in his research. He said, you know, there's no bias in this data. People die where they don't, right? And you can find out where they were, you know, where they lived, where they, you know, how old they were, all this kind of data. So that's what he was working with. And he found out very early on that there was no pandemic, right? And you remember this, I remember this very well. You know, northern Italy, right? You saw pictures and videos and a lot of people dying, right, in northern Italy. It was like at the very beginning of this so-called pandemic. And he said, well, yeah, there were hot spots, he said. But it didn't travel. See, there was the virus didn't cross the border. And he could see this very clearly in his research. So it was like the virus had a passport, he said. It wouldn't cross the border, right? So he understood very early on that there was something strange about this thing. So he said there were hot spots where lots of people died. But it was because of treatment. Well, it had nothing to do with the virus. See, there was no pandemic. Well, it's a great speech by this guy. There was nothing that was spreading, that was causing the death. So there was no pandemic. Right. And then he also said that they found out this thing. When they give boosters, they can see a peak in deaths, all-cause mortality. They can see it immediately. The booster comes, people are getting the booster, then death comes afterwards. Within very short, very quickly, you know. Right. And he said they see this in country after country. Right. And he also said there was no increase in mortality when they looked at countries, except for these hot spots, right? There was no increase in mortality until they rolled out the injection. Okay. Yeah, we need to document all this stuff. We need to get this stuff out. We, of course, most of us, I think all of us, we understand what happened, more or less, right? But I find it important that we keep documenting it, keep talking about it. I think so. I feel it in my heart. I need to talk about this thing over and over and over again. And I will not stop. Right. Be good.